The story of modern air power has always been about dominance in the skies, speed, agility, and the ability to project force across borders in an instant. Every generation of fighter jets has brought new benchmarks of technology, strategy, and raw destructive capability. And then, every once in a while, comes a machine that feels less like a step forward and more like a leap into the future. The Tempest F-100, codenamed Sky Tyrant, is one of those machines. It's a fighter jet not designed simply to fight today's wars but to redefine how tomorrow's battles will even be fought. With its arrival, defense analysts, Air Force strategists, and rival nations are all paying attention. The question is not whether it can dominate but just how much of the balance of power in aerial combat it could potentially shift. The name alone, Sky Tyrant, carries a kind of menace. It suggests complete control over the air, a fighter jet that does not simply engage in dogfights but dictates the rules of the engagement itself. And the more you learn about it, the more that name starts to make sense. Unlike many jets that evolve out of existing platforms, the Tempest F-100 was conceived from scratch as a sixth-generation stealth multirole fighter, blending advanced stealth geometry, artificial intelligence integration, and unmatched weapons versatility. It represents a total break from legacy designs, and its developers wanted to produce something that wouldn't just compete against other fifth-generation fighters like the F-35, Su-57, or J-20 but something that would render them obsolete. From the outside, the first impression the Sky Tyrant gives is one of sharp elegance fused with menace. Its fuselage has been sculpted with almost alien-like contours, emphasizing a diamond-shaped blended wing body. Every edge, every surface is engineered to scatter or absorb radar signals, creating one of the lowest radar cross-sections ever achieved. Unlike older stealth jets that relied heavily on radar-absorbing coatings and angles alone, the Tempest F-100 combines those with metamaterial skin technology, meaning its entire surface can actively manipulate electromagnetic waves. In simpler terms, this fighter doesn't just hide from radar, it bends radar around itself like water flowing past a rock. But stealth is only the beginning. Speed and maneuverability define the Sky Tyrant's combat character. Powered by two adaptive cycle engines capable of dynamically adjusting between high-thrust performance and fuel-efficient cruising, this jet achieves speeds well above Mach 2.6 while maintaining a combat radius that dwarfs many competitors. These engines also provide unprecedented supercruise capabilities, allowing it to sustain supersonic speeds without afterburners for extended periods. That means less heat signature, more fuel savings, and more time operating in stealth mode. In high-performance scenarios, thrust vectoring nozzles give the Tempest F-100 an agility that seems to defy physics, pulling off maneuvers that could leave even experienced pilots gasping under the extreme G-forces. Speaking of pilots, the cockpit of the Sky Tyrant is more like stepping into a fusion of a spacecraft and a supercomputer. Instead of traditional analog dials or even glass cockpit digital screens, the pilot operates through a fully immersive augmented reality interface. The entire canopy itself functions as a 360-degree display system, overlaying tactical data, sensor readings, and AI-driven insights directly into the pilot's line of sight. Combined with helmet-mounted targeting systems, the pilot can literally look at a target, designate it, and engage, all in fractions of a second. And then there's the onboard artificial intelligence. The Sky Tyrant is not just piloted by a human, it's co-piloted by an AI that processes enormous amounts of data in real time. This AI acts like a second brain, analyzing threats, predicting enemy maneuvers, and even managing defensive countermeasures automatically so that the pilot can focus on high-level decision-making. In combat situations where milliseconds matter, this AI-human synergy could make all the difference between victory and defeat. The AI is also capable of controlling loyal wingman drones, essentially allowing one Tempest F-100 to command a small fleet of unmanned aircraft, multiplying its force projection exponentially. Weapons systems on the Sky Tyrant are equally impressive. Designed as a true multirole fighter, it carries an arsenal capable of engaging everything from enemy aircraft to ground installations and even maritime targets. Internal weapons bays preserve stealth while housing beyond visual range air-to-air missiles, precision-guided bombs, and hypersonic strike weapons. The integration of directed energy weapons is particularly revolutionary. The Tempest F-100 is equipped with a high-powered laser system for both offensive and defensive purposes. This means it can shoot down incoming missiles before they ever reach their target and, at the same time, disable enemy aircraft sensors or even burn through their fuselages at closer ranges. On top of that, electromagnetic pulse cannons embedded within its structure give it the ability to disrupt enemy electronics. Imagine an aircraft that doesn't even have to fire a conventional missile but can instead neutralize a squadron of drones or disable enemy radar systems with a burst of invisible energy. That's what makes the Sky Tyrant less of a fighter jet and more of an airborne dominance platform. It is, in many ways, rewriting the very concept of air superiority. When it comes to survivability, the Tempest F-100 goes beyond traditional stealth and maneuvering. Its defensive suite is almost science-fictional. Advanced electronic warfare pods can jam, spoof, or blind enemy radar systems. Infrared suppression systems reduce its heat signature so drastically that even modern infrared search and track systems struggle to lock on. And should it find itself under attack, active countermeasures deploy in ways older generations of jets could never manage. We're talking about decoys that mimic the exact radar profile of the jet itself, swarm drones that intercept enemy missiles mid-flight, and the aforementioned laser defenses that simply vaporize incoming threats. But perhaps the most radical concept behind the Sky Tyrant is its modular adaptability. It's not just a fighter for today's threats, it's designed to evolve for decades to come. Its onboard systems can be upgraded via software patches and hardware swaps, much like a smartphone. New weapons can be integrated digitally without extensive retrofitting. Its AI can learn and adapt from every combat scenario, meaning every Tempest F-100 becomes smarter the longer it operates. And in an era where cyber warfare is as real as physical warfare, the jet includes quantum encryption protocols to protect its systems from hacking attempts. Now let's talk about strategy. What does the existence of the Sky Tyrant mean for the global balance of power? Well, in essence, it tilts it dramatically. For nations that field the Tempest F-100, their air forces don't just gain a new aircraft, they gain a force multiplier capable of dominating entire regions of contested airspace. In simulations and war games, the Sky Tyrant has been projected to achieve kill ratios previously considered impossible. Against legacy fighters, it's not even a competition. Against fifth-generation aircraft, it still holds a decisive edge thanks to its stealth, AI integration, and electronic warfare superiority. But it's not invincible. For all its power, the Sky Tyrant faces challenges. Cost is one of them. Developing such a machine requires astronomical investments, and maintaining a fleet of them could be prohibitively expensive for all but the wealthiest nations. Additionally, while its technology is revolutionary, adversaries are already racing to develop countermeasures. Hypersonic weapons, space-based detection systems, and advanced AI-driven air defense networks are all being designed with jets like the Tempest F-100 in mind. It's a reminder that no matter how advanced a weapon system is, the arms race never truly ends. Still, in the here and now, there is little question that the Sky Tyrant sits at the pinnacle of aerial warfare technology. Pilots who have trained on it describe the experience as almost surreal, as though the aircraft is reading their thoughts, anticipating their actions, and amplifying their reflexes. To fly it is not to control a machine but to merge with it, creating a kind of symbiotic relationship between human and technology. And in a dogfight, that synergy translates into unmatched lethality. It's worth remembering too that aircraft like the Tempest F-100 are not just weapons, they're symbols. They represent the industrial might, the scientific innovation, and the strategic ambition of the nations that build them. When one of these takes to the skies, it sends a message not just to adversaries but to allies as well, a message of dominance, deterrence, and capability. For this reason alone, the Sky Tyrant is destined to become more than just a tool of war. It will be a political instrument, a technological milestone, and quite possibly, the benchmark by which future generations of fighter aircraft are measured. And yet, beyond the cold analysis of technology and strategy, there's something almost poetic about the Sky Tyrant. Watching it ascend, carving through the sky with near-silent efficiency, cloaked in invisibility yet carrying enough firepower to reshape a battlefield, it feels less like an aircraft and more like a myth brought to life. It is the embodiment of humankind's eternal drive to dominate the skies, to reach further, faster, and with greater power. In conclusion, the Tempest F-100 Sky Tyrant is not just another fighter jet. It is the pinnacle of modern aerospace engineering, the cutting edge of military innovation, and a glimpse into the future of aerial warfare. From its revolutionary stealth and AI integration to its unmatched weapons systems and defensive capabilities, it sets a new standard that all others will be judged against. It is a tyrant not just in name but in reality, a master of the skies, an overlord of air superiority, and perhaps the most formidable fighter jet ever conceived.